Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturcio and Chris Gucci.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Mojo Market Report right here on Wednesday. It is March the 16th, 3/16. What? Do you get that?
I do.
You do? You get the reference?
Tim Tebow, right?
Oh, God. Oh, man. No, not even close. It is officially Stone Cold Steve Austin Day.
Reference.
Okay, good. It is Dave Sturcio. Chris Gucci, who doesn't like wrestling apparently.
I love Stone Cold. Come on, bro.
Who doesn't like Stone Cold Steve Austin? Honestly, like let's be real. He's one of the realest dudes out there, and it was on this day. It wasn't really on this day. You remember? You never watched the promo, him beating the Jake the Snake, and it's good times. I'll have to show it to you after the show.
I'll take your word for it.
No, we'll watch it.
I know we could hammer down a beer or two.
What?
But
anyway, I hope everybody's doing well out there. I know a lot of people that are doing well, and they're called Jets fans. They're excited. A lot to get into today. Obviously, NFL free agency rolls on. More moves made. I, for one, have a little pep in my step today, despite the fact that yesterday, after the show, there was rumors. Then it actually happens. We'll get into all of it. Matter of fact, let's just get into it right now. So let's talk some NFL, and let's talk some Aaron Rodgers in jet green, ladies and gentlemen. So yesterday on the Mojo Market Report, we alluded to him dragging his feet. Maybe the Jets are dragging their feet. Maybe they're kicking the can down the road. All the while, it was the Green Bay Packers. It was all their fault. According to Aaron Rodgers yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, which, by the way, did you see the numbers?
yeah,
1.3 million people tuned in to Pat McAfee. It was like 460,000 live audience members, including his new best friend, Adam Schefter. Whoa.
give him the old bait and switch. Meaning like they didn't give you a single bit of information.
What do you mean?
Realistically,
Yes,
to
they
me,
did.
yesterday
They gave everything you could possibly
they
give.
gave all yesterday was it was like a confirmation of the news that we basically already had confirmed, was that Rodgers was going to the Jets. They had a deal was in place. It was, is Rodgers going to retire or not? I guess that was the only real thing.
He was
but
90% convinced.
He wasn't coming back to Green Bay.
You call that a lie too?
What?
It was him. It was out of his mouth.
Bro,
He's like, I went into the darkness 90% convinced that I was retiring and 10% that I was going to play. And I came out and I got a bunch of texts when I got the one bar.
And then so if he's 90% convinced that he's going to retire, and then 10% that he's going to come out and play, then he gets all the texts, and those texts were based on reports that he insubstantiates on his own, because he says, if you don't hear it from me, then it's not true. So all those reports that everyone else heard, but not from you, they were okay to be true.
It was direct text and calls and voicemails. It wasn't like he was looking at Adam Schefter's report.
He also said that the writing was on the wall after the offseason. As soon as the offseason started, the writing was on the wall that this was the deal. When they drafted Jordan Love 4 years ago, that was when the writing became on the wall. You know,
it just so happened that Aaron Rodgers went out there and won 2 MVPs, and that's why they couldn't have that conversation with the guy.
Look,
they couldn't say, like, hey, we're shipping you off. He's like, all right, hold on, watch this. And then he throws the MVP season and then another one. And it's just like, that's why you can't get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Now, off a down year, according to what Aaron said yesterday, the Packers told him after the season, take all the time you need, figure it out, we would love you back. That's what they told him. When he got out of the darkness retreat and whatever, right, which, by the way, the details of that, phenomenal. After he got out of that, he comes out and he gets all the messages from his friends close to the situation saying that the Packers have moved on. Or trying to move on. Meaning like time for Jordan Love.
Meaning they saw the Ian Rappaport report, they saw the Adam Schefter report when Aaron was in the darkness, and they texted their boy and said, hey, are these reports true? So it's okay for Aaron Rodgers to listen to reports, but it's not okay for us. That's what I took away from that. I thought that was hypocritical.
I feel like you went full, talk about wrestling before, you went full heel on Aaron Rodgers going forward.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers went full heel on me. You know, like
wow.
I've been the one that's been sticking up for him forever.
Another wrestling reference.
He thanked the fans. I think that was a gloss over. I'm not sitting here and saying like, oh, Aaron Rodgers should have thanked me personally or this or that. But I don't know. I mean, I think he could have handled it better. The truth of the matter is, the Packers didn't say you could take all the time in the world.
That's what Aaron Rodgers said.
Is, to me, lying in that situation, because it's crazy to say that the Packers are out publicly. Like, I listened to the interviews at the Combine. Mm-hmm. At the Combine, they were saying, like, well, we were wanting things done by free agency. There was no way that they were saying, Aaron, let this drag out middle of the offseason. Like, they wanted answers. Aaron took a little longer than maybe they would have liked. And honestly, it's all going to work out for the Packers in the long run anyway, because Jordan Love's going to be a decent quarterback at worst, I believe. So we have ourselves a starter. I'm okay with it. We're potentially now, because the Jets put themselves in this situation. They're like pointing at the screen, live tweeting Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. If I'm the Packers, I'm also live tweeting. Like, we want more. That would be my live tweet. It'd be like, yeah, we want more, because you guys are having a party, and it's like, well, you're still under contract with the Packers, so we don't have to give you anything.
It's
and
interesting.
Now, I did say that the Packers were going to demand more. They are. Now they are demanding more. And it's not 2-1s, but that's a report, right? We can't believe those.
You would assume.
It's more than what it was 2 days ago. It's more than what it was on the parameters that they agreed to.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. I like I said, I think that no matter what, the 13th overall pick in the draft is on the table.
No-brainer.
1,000%. And if you know what? And if the Jets pull this off without giving that up, then Joe Douglas deserves the Pulitzer Prize.
I'll be sick
give him
to
a
my
Nobel
stomach.
Peace Prize. Give him the keys to the city.
Sick to my stomach because of the way that that will be an extreme mishandle, in my opinion. You know, look, they're getting that pick. If they don't get that pick after all this, that would be atrocious. It would be a travesty. Honestly, that would be a fireable offense. You can't unload Hall of Fame, 4-time MVP, especially given the gravity of the situation where the Jets are completely toast if they do not get Aaron Rodgers.
So what's the grand scheme of all this? What do you think? What plays out? Because on the Mojo stock on the market on the app yesterday, Aaron Rodgers, a little uptick. Remember, at the end of last year, people were starting to short Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, thinking that maybe this was it, right? And then now, all of a sudden, I want to play again. Chip, builds up on the shoulder. He's ready to go. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, Wrestling Rob, he hit me up. He's like, is it me or is he flashing that Super Bowl ring way too much on that interview? Like, every time he took a sip of whatever he was drinking, some kind of Pepto-Bismol looked like. Every time that shiny ring was right in your face. So, look. Aaron Rodgers is who he is, right? But now we're talking about the actual play. What's going to happen to the New York Football Jets? If this happens and when it happens, it all seems likely that it's going to happen and there's just compensation needs to be discussed. Are the Jets immediately, like, I don't want to say Super Bowl contenders because that's
I mean, like,
you think it's a Super Bowl contender?
When we're looking at
AFC's loaded.
All right, Super Bowl contender. We're going to say, what would you say a Super Bowl contender is? Because I'm talking about Vegas odds. They're 100% going to be considered a Super Bowl contender. That's just
I've been telling anybody that would listen that the Jets last year were just a competent quarterback play away from being in the playoffs at the very least.
I would say so, but now they got the quarterback, so there's no excuse. They're going to 100% be at least considered a favorite. According to the odds makers going in, Aaron Rodgers is going to definitely change the game. When there was just the agreed to trade in parameters, I think that they jumped to like sixth in the league to win it all. So now if it becomes official, you would imagine that at least bumps up a little bit. But what do I think happens? I think that there's a chance, a very, very good chance at that, where the New York Jets finish third in the AFC East next year, still. Because the Dolphins made moves. The Dolphins, if Tua comes back fully healthy and his brain isn't scrambled eggs like it was at the back end of this season, adding Jalen Ramsey, adding the pieces that they added, they have the receivers in place. The coach is there now, a second year.
The running back situation got solidified.
I think he's a significantly better coach, choice at head coach than Robert Saleh. And then you obviously have the Bills. So the AFC East is loaded. And then the one bum team.
Well, look, that's not out of the realm of possibility. We saw what the NFC East was able to do with almost sending 4 teams to the playoffs. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that happens.
I'm not saying third place in the East doesn't get them a wild card.
Okay.
I'm saying, but when you look around the division and you look around the AFC, I mean.
Yeah, sure, everybody should be better. The Broncos should be better.
There's going to be the Bengals. You don't know what the Ravens are going to do if Lamar's back or not. The Steelers. Who knows? Kenny Pickett year 2.
Year 2, Kenny Pickett. Year 2, Pickens. Right.
There could be some teams that are looking to make a push as well. It's not just the Jets that are trying to do things.
Chargers.
Denver added a bunch. The Chargers were supposed to be good last year. They kind of tailed off a little bit.
I almost feel like, and this is unfortunate for people in our inner circle, but like, man, the Raiders might be like the Raiders might be at the bottom of the barrel next year. I mean, Jimmy G wins games, but they've lost some talent over there.
Jimmy G wins games when the defense you can't block their front
foot. And Jimmy G wins games when he has playmaker beyond playmaker
What's
beyond
happen
playmaker.
When Jimmy G has to score 35 because the defense can't stop anybody.
Can't do it.
I don't know about that one.
No.
But yeah.
So look, the Jets are obviously contenders with Aaron Rodgers. What happens to the Packers? Now look, the Jordan Love effect. We've been talking about it until we're out of breath to go invest in Jordan Love. You made it your one guy. At the end of the year, we had a conversation. We said, who's the one guy that you want to go invest in right now? And that was January, guys. January. Chris went out there and said, go get Jordan Love right now. He's up 70% in this month alone. He's up 5% in 24 hours. Every time there's more news about Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love goes up. Because look, his price right now is $14.77. Okay, 14. He is the 50th, 5-0 highest ranked quarterback on the Mojo market right now. It is not caught up to him yet. He is a starter in this league. And if you really want to call push to shove,
Week 2,
you could call him a top, this is not arbitrary, 20, just off of
put it this way,
Moxie alone.
If you just stripped everybody, keep the contracts in place and the situations in place, right? Going into this season, and you strip down everybody off their team, quarterback wise, and you redrafted quarterbacks, where do you think Jordan Love would get picked?
So listen, I know you know him more in depth, and what from Aaron Rodgers said yesterday on the Pat McAfee show that the dude is a hustler. He works hard. He's getting better every year.
Like,
I don't know.
Based on the fact that he was a first round.
What
pick,
year did he come out? 2000 and
he was the pre-COVID rookie year. So like that was the
2019.
He's going into his 4th year.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
So 5th year.
No, he's going into his 4th. So,
So he was 2020. So the same draft as CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Okay, so the COVID draft. So Mr. Armchair, announce all your picks from your living room. Okay, so in that draft, who were the quarterbacks taken? 2020. I'm drawing a blank, but 2020 quarterbacks. Let's see here. 2020.
Why am I drawing a blank?
Yeah, I know. 2020 quarterback draft class. Okay, top 8. Here we go. Oh, well, all right. James Morgan. What the hell? All right, so hold on. I'm trying to pull this up here. Jacob Eason. Jalen Hurts is 5. Jordan Love was ranked 4th after the draft. So this is like an article that was written right after the draft. Tua was in that draft. Justin Herbert was in that draft. Joe Burrow.
Yes, okay.
Would you take now, knowing what you know now, on this list, would you take Jordan Love over Tua?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
One guy's already been maybe talked about his career being over.
I mean, he was the 5th overall pick of the draft, which is crazy to me. I mean, it's not crazy, but like
one guy's been spoken about maybe his career being over. Now, I know he's won some games in this league, but the knock on Jordan Love is never going to be he can't reach you. He could throw.
No, I've seen his arm. Small sample size. Again, he came in during a 1-game suspension or whatever it was for Rodgers. He came in this year, right? Did he play this year?
Yeah, he had that. He came in a little bit and spelled Rodgers in the Philly game, and he hit Christian Watson on a dart when they went for 65 yards out of the gate.
You can't say the proof is in the pudding yet, but you can say the hype is there.
What do you think Rodgers' record was his first year as a starter? What was the Packers' record that year?
2000. That was 2008. He started. Was his first year. I want to say they went to the Super Bowl in 2010. I want to say his first year starting quarterback. Do you know it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably 10-6.
6-10.
Good Lord. Okay.
Right? They went from 13-3 to 6-10, but the following year they went to the playoffs and they lost a complete insane game to the Cardinals where Darnell Dockett actually strip sacked Rodgers in the end zone in overtime, and it was like a 51-45 final. Packers were losing by
God, I remember that game.
21 out of the gate. They ended up tying it up. Then they were down 14 again, tied it up again, right? Mm-hmm. Wild game.
You did say something pretty bold yesterday, that there is some history here in the history of the NFL. What was the stat?
See, I'm not so. It's a little bit of a skewed
stretch,
stat
but
because
it's
the 49ers didn't draft Steve Young, but we've had a situation where,
only
Hall of
3
Fame quarterback, Joe Montana, Brett Favre. Then you have Steve Young sitting underneath him with the same head coach 3 years, right? All of a sudden, Joe Montana gets hurt. Steve Young gets the job. He becomes a Hall of Famer. Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, you guys know the history there. We're reliving it right now, right? So you guys know where I'm going with this. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Hall of Famer, sat 3 years behind a Hall of Famer, same head coach, enters as a starter with the same head coach, Hall of Fame career. That's the precedent that we've set so far. I'm not saying Jordan Love's a Hall of Famer, but I think very rare where you see a situation where you have a first-round talent in the NFL that gets to sit 3 seasons before even taking an important snap outside of the KC game, which there was no expectations there. Outside of that game 2 years ago, where you don't take a single snap that counts, and then you get to enter the season 4 as a starter for the first time with the same head coach and a pretty good roster around you. A lot of times you see first-round talents enter as a starter, and they're playing with a dog shit team. Excuse my language.
100%. No,
that's what you're going to see with the Panthers. That's what you're going to
see
see with the Texans. That's what you're going to see out of all the teams that draft a quarterback early this year. That's just how it goes. So,
I would say the best situation to be in right now, if you're looking at a team that could possibly go over the hump with a new quarterback, maybe the Colts, because they're not off. They were like a quarterback away.
Maybe the Packers.
But anyway, more NFL news yesterday.
Now, if they do better this season than they did last, I don't think it's going to be because solely the quarterback play.
No,
Jordan Love is going to have to play well, but the defense leaves a lot of room for improvement as a team because they didn't play well, but they have the pieces in place. So I do think Green Bay makes improvements.
Do you automatically assume that the Packers draft 2 weapons for him, 13, 15, if they get the 13th overall from the Jets?
I don't automatically assume anything with the way the Packers are in the front office because, who knows? Best player available is how you approach it, I think, in the top 15.
You take what you need in the beginning. I mean, at the end of the first round, then it's best player available.
I mean, it depends because
it depends on who's on their board.
It looks like if
they have 10 guys listed and they're all gone, it's like
or if they have maybe a guy that they need at we'll say tackle, right? They need a tackle, but there's 10 tackles they like, and there's only 2 receivers that they like. You then jump and take the receiver and
quality over quantity at that point.
The tackle you get later on down the road.
Baker Mayfield decided to also make headlines yesterday by signing a 1-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Me and Chris are both in agreement. This might not be the best matchup for them. I mean, look, I understand you need a quarterback after the Brady thing, and he retires, and Kyle Trask is on the roster. Nobody knows anything about this guy because he's never seen the light of day because of Tom Brady. But now Baker Mayfield proves himself a little bit in L.A. from going to a bad situation to a decent situation on a bad team in which the Rams were kind of like a laughingstock towards the back end. But there was a couple times where you're like, okay, we come in on a Monday morning like, okay, Baker, okay, How much does that continue with Tampa Bay? I don't know. So, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, great. They have the weapons, but they might want out at this point.
Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield is not going to be a project that I think will work out. I think that's going to be a dumpster fire at best. You guys, or if you've been watching, you already know how I feel about Baker.
Yeah.
Baker's just going around right now and collecting fan bases that are going to hate him forever because now Tampa's up next. Right? I guess the Rams kind of don't have anything wrong. Bad to say about.
They don't
Baker.
have any fans. That's the problem.
That's true.
They had fans the Super Bowl year, but then they went away again. And the GM went out there and said, "F them fans. We don't need those guys either." And unfortunate news for my Dallas Cowboys. They finally parted ways with Ezekiel Elliott after 7 seasons, or at least he's 2016, so 6 seasons, whatever it's been. 7 seasons. So he's obviously has all-time numbers with Dallas. I said it yesterday as a tongue-in-cheek joke on another show, saying that Zeke is the 3rd best Dallas Cowboys running back of all time. And when you have the lineage of Dallas Cowboys running backs, that ain't bad company. You're up there with Tony Dorsett and Emmitt Smith, right? Because every team in the world has 77 running backs throughout the course of their careers. These guys have 3 standouts. Zeke puts himself in that situation.
It's crazy. He wasn't even the best running back on his team last year.
Wow. All right. We're there. We're there. I woke up today. It wasn't a dream. It was actually a nightmare, and I'm living it still.
That joke wrote itself. That was a layup.
100%. But for me, look, was it time for him to go? I thought they could have done something incentive-based. I thought they could have kept this guy around for morale. I thought they could have kept Dak Prescott's best friend on the team, but it's not friends. It's a business, and I understand that. What? That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, let's keep this guy around, pay him like a fullback, pay him like a used check.
I think they tried to.
That's the thing. From what I hear, sources have told me that the agent wasn't having it. They tried to say, hey, listen, here's what you're worth.
Blame the agent, but it's the player.
Rocky is his name.
The player, too, man. Like, the agent, I'm sure the agent isn't just saying, hey, this is what they're offering. And Zeke could say no, yes or no.
The problem is this. The problem going forward is this. Is there a market for Zeke? Now, from reports that I've read, it looks like it could be a Tampa Bay who have cut Leonard Fournette, which to me, I told you yesterday, kind of Spider-Man meme-ish right there, where you're just like, oh, you're the same guy, I think Fournette might have a little bit more bruiser juice left than Zeke. I don't know. But then there was rumors about the Chargers with Kellen Moore over there and the fact that they're trying to shop Austin Eckler. This guy's been haggling me for 20 hours about possibly an NFC East team landing Zeke Elliott. Maybe Zeke behind Barkley. I can't see it. I would throw up all over this desk.
Or Zeke behind Rashad Penny.
In Philadelphia. No, it's not happening again. I'm not doing this DeMarco Murray crap all over again.
I could see him in a Commander's uniform.
Oh, God. No. What? He's going to back up
That
Brian
would be the
Robinson?
one that you would least mind.
Oh, I don't give a crap. I mean, it's like when Noah Brown left, I was like, oh, man, he was a good third down receiver. And they're like, yeah, I signed with the Texans. I'm like, okay, good luck. Best of luck to you.
If I'm making my prediction on where Zeke ends up, I'm going to predict the Giants first.
Oh, stop.
Because I think that's going to bother Dave. But I also think that I do see Zeke as an NFC East lifer.
You're out of your mind. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't
It
work
does.
like
It
that.
actually does.
No, it doesn't.
It actually works like
Give
that.
me
a
one
lot.
example.
All right, LaShawn McCoy. Didn't he? Oh, no,
No,
that's
the
not a bad
Chiefs.
example. The DeMarco Murray.
That was one guy in 2015.
So there's not been Giants running backs that have gone to other teams in the NFC East?
No.
Never?
I mean, I can't say never, but
I
I'm
think
going to
Brian Mitchell played on every team.
Brian Mitchell played on every team except for the Cowboys.
I see
Anyway.
him as an NFC East guy. That's just me.
Great.
Or realistically, what I actually see here is a very cheap deal going to the Browns and backing up Nick Chubb. It's kind of a similar style. Kareem Hunt's on the out.
From Ohio.
In there.
Or
he's from Chicago
Illinois.
or Illinois, but he went to Ohio State. Or if we're looking at it, I don't know what the contract situation is between Samaje Perine.
He's being, I thought he re-signed with the Bengals behind Joe Mixon, who might be suspended.
I'm saying that a possibility between the Bengals and Zeke is on my radar.
We'll see
because
what
of that
happens there.
college situation.
All of a sudden now, Tony Pollard, who was already in most people's eyes, he was already RB1. Now it's official. He's an RB1. And, he's coming off injury. He's franchise tagged. He is now trying to get the bag. Now, when we say bag, there's other guys that made some moves yesterday that you're now realizing that the bag might not be as lucrative. We said that, and I said that to you last night. Have you ever seen a position in the NFL lose more value faster than the running back? I've never seen anything like this. This is insane.
I think amongst the NFL,
like Miles Sanders,
amongst the NFL
deal.
execs, I think it's kind of lost its value years back, and we saw that once you started seeing what the Broncos were doing post Terrell Davis, where they just pretty much inserted it back any one of them.
And credit to those guys because they made a lot of stars over there.
And you started seeing it. And when you look around at Super Bowl teams, not many of them have this star running back. It's a lot of these Super Bowl teams are a committee, and the dynasties are a committee. The Patriots. Name me a running back that lasted for the
Kevin
Patriots.
Falk.
Right?
I just first name popped in my head.
That's the two best teams that I could think of over the course of the last 20 years that have been largely dominant. Chiefs are approaching dominance now. 2 Super Bowls, 5 straight AFC championship games. That's dominant. Well, who's their running back been? Outside of Kareem Hunt, that
Pacheco
1 year.
this year.
But he wasn't even the running back out of the gate, and
No,
he
he
wasn't
wasn't.
even the starter
It was
until
Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
he had
McKinnon.
games this year where he had 3 touches at best.
Right.
So
Speaking of the
that's
Chiefs,
how it's done now.
Juju Smith-Schuster made career suicide. He goes from the Chiefs, signs. He goes from Patrick Mahomes all the way east to play with Bill Belichick and Mac Jones. Now, Mac Jones, they're building around him, believe it or not. They are starting to stack some receivers over there, but I've never seen Mac Jones as the guy. I'm sorry. Don't see it. If you're a Mac Jones supporter, I apologize, but it's at the same time, I'm looking at you like, I think you missed it. I think you missed the boat here. I don't think Mac Jones is the answer for the Patriots going forward. That's just me. But in any event, a lot of stuff still going on. The Cowboys are rumored to have they restructured a whole bunch more guys yesterday. DeMarcus Lawrence, he restructured for the 15th time, I feel like. He's kicking a lot of money down the street. Tyron Smith restructured, so there could be another move by the Dallas Cowboys made within the next, 24, 48 hours. They're saying that the Rodgers thing, that could drag out to draft. I read that yesterday, and I'm like, because there's no actual
reason why anybody has to do anything now.
Yeah, now it's just like a staring contest. They're just who's going to blink first, the Packers or the Jets. You know what I mean? The Jets have probably already made their offer, and now the Packers just have to mull it over. So I'm excited to see the compensation.
What's the
because
counter?
Everything is worth it. I said this yesterday. If they really did want 2 1s, right? This year's 13th, next year's first round pick, I would still do that in a heartbeat. Why? Because next year's draft pick, by all means, you would think is going to be in the top, in the late 20s because of the record.
After seeing what I saw yesterday, and I'm the Packers front office, and the Jets are live tweeting and things like that, like it's like all those reporters were coming out yesterday. It's like the Packers and the Jets are still working out a trade, but the Packers are not looking for 2-1s. I would look if I'm a Packers GM and I get that headline, I'd be like, well, we are now.
Right. Exactly.
Now we're looking for 2-1s.
Exactly. All
because
right.
what are you going to do? Say no? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. The Jets are going to give us whatever we want.
Cover some NBA before we get out of here real quick, just to wrap up some prop bets that we hit or did not hit. There is some news, though. Ja Morant has been suspended 8 games by the NBA on top of what Memphis just did to him, so he'll be out for the back stretch of the season.
Ja Morant's probably not going to play again this year.
I don't know, but there is a sit-down that's about to air.
I saw
with Jalen Rose. Not Jalen Rose? Yeah. Jalen Rose and him had to sit down. I don't know what he said or what he's saying. He's probably just advocating for gun violence or some crap like that.
Bullshit. It was a bullshit interview. It was basically lob questions. They did not press him one bit. There wasn't anything. It was a PR stunt. And
the PR stunt didn't do him any favors.
But it was basically saying like it wasn't my gun. I don't condone violence and it's
blah,
like,
blah, 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 blah.
You don't, in hindsight, and yes, you have an image to uphold, and that's kind of where that conversation went. And it said, I will do better going forward. Now, my question about this whole situation with Ja Morant is like, where's your father at getting hammered on the court side in the games? Nobody has anything bad to say about Ja Morant's dad, but everyone has a lot of shitty things to say, excuse my language, about LeVar Ball. I'm not taking sides on who's good, who's bad for their kids'
LeVar
career.
Ball, investor in Mojo.
And things like that, but the truth of the matter is, it's
he bought stock.
Come on, man. When you have a superstar, you got his father's front and center at all these games. Did Shannon Sharp really like just call his shot and like hit the nail on the head 2 or 3 weeks ago with the Ja Morant thing?
Could be.
You're not a thug. Stop acting like that. You grew up rich.
Your real name's Clarence.
And I'm not going that route. I love Ja Morant, the player. I think he's going to be a great guy.
So disappointing.
I think it is disappointing. Ever since he came out and said that we got it, we're fine in the West. I think Ja Morant, he entered this season as like, nobody had a bad word to say about him except for the fact that he couldn't play defense or doesn't.
So what does that mean? It's for Ja Morant to do this. It's like nobody had a bad thing to say about him. He's like, oh man, that's not a good image.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I need this to change. I need you to think that I'm tough, and this is how you're going to do it. But anyway, the real situation is this. The Memphis Grizzlies right now sit at the 2 seed. The Suns are right there, 1 game behind them. There's 12, 13 games left. They're going to lose the 2 seed because Ja Morant decided to do this crap.
I don't know about all that because
I think the Suns are going to catch him.
Last year, Ja missed like 25 games or 26 games. They were 21-5 or something without Ja Morant.
Yeah, because they're playing defense.
I don't know, and their defensive metrics went up considerably.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know what Ja Morant. I know that they can't win a title or contend for a title without Ja Morant, but I think they could win. Their winning percentage could remain the same. I don't know what it's been without him.
Liquid props last night, ladies and gentlemen. I played 4 of them. The 4 that the Mojo announced on their Twitter. So be sure to follow them on Twitter as they announce the biggest props. But boy, oh boy, is that prop site getting even like that one page where all the plentiful. A lot of money to be made on the Mojo market. Embiid set at 32.5 yesterday. He hits 36. Slam that one. James Harden. This was the interesting one, and I felt good when I saw it in real time. Harden, 2.85 3-pointers made. He hits that third 3-pointer. I was like, ching! I got myself one on that one. I did lose on Donovan Mitchell. So he continues to be somebody I start to dislike a little bit more because he's going to be the guy that drops 55 at the Garden during the playoffs because it's going to happen. He was set at 27. He only goes for 21 last night. Evan Mobley was set at 11.14 rebounds. Guess what, guys?
He had 11.15 rebounds.
He hits 12 and hits the bet. So there you go. Those bets are always active. And guys, I got to tell you, now because March Madness has begun, you had a couple play-in games over the last couple of days. March Madness is here. They now have props. You can go futures on who you think is going to win the tournament. You can cash out. You can go up. You can reinvest. If you think they're on a run, go for it. They have prop bets on these kids. The kids are all available to play prop bets every game. Every single game in March Madness will have some action on the Mojo market. And the only way to do that is to follow us right now, which, by the way, is, in fact, at Mojo, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at Mojo, M-O-J-O. Very easy to find us. And, of course, join us on the Discord. This is where you find out all your information each and every day over there on the Mojo app. Do it responsibly. Have some fun. March Madness is here. Celebrate 316 at 316 with beer if you're of age. And enjoy the rest of the day. More free agency madness tomorrow, more March Madness tomorrow, more stuff, NBA, Feel Good Friday coming at you. For Dave Sturchio, Chris Gucci, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. Back here tomorrow.
Welcome to Jordan Love season. Hall of Fame career starts.